Coming to you live from Best Equipment in Lawrence, Indiana. It's part of our Facebook Live series of shows. And today we're joined by the mayor of the great city of Lawrence, Mr. Steve Colliers. Thank you again for having us back.
Got me again.
And our host today, actually this is handpicked by Steve Collier and Ray Cox last month. The first place they wanted to come to is see Mike Dahlman at Best Equipment. So Mike, thanks for hosting us today.
Well, you're welcome. My pleasure.
And Best Equipment, if you guys don't know where it is, I'm sure you've seen the logo somewhere. If you come out of Mike's Car Wash, you ran right into Mike's place right here, Best Equipment, right off of 56th Street and Pilton Pike. Mm-hmm. Fairly new facility. What is it, '04? I think
we moved in '04.
'04. Mm-hmm. And Mike, I got to Steve this because you wanted to come here first. Why did you want to come to Best Equipment? Why is this top of your list?
My relationship with Mike really kind of blossomed almost by accident. I came in and this is back during when I was campaigning, and I hadn't met him before. And actually, Billy Poindexter kind of said, "Hey, have you had a chance to meet Mike Dahlman yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And so I came in just to drop off some materials for him. Well, his secretary or his receptionist actually asked my name. I told her my name. Well, apparently Mike overheard it because he invited me up to his office. I'm supposed to be here for about 10 minutes. I was here for over 3 hours, and I got to see some of what he does back in here, and was obviously exceedingly impressed with what's happening over here, and it's a great story. Mike probably won't tell you this, but I will. But last spring we had a chance to celebrate his 100th anniversary.
Wow.
In business equipment. That's a
you don't look a day over 100.
Thank you.
Right now.
I work at it.
But 100 years in Lawrence. Well, not in Lawrence specifically, but you're here now. So, what's the family history? Is this a family business? I mean, where did this Best Equipment come from?
It's always been a family business. It's a story of two families, the Reese family, and then my father bought into the Reese family. But the company was established in 1917 by Frank Reese. They started with street sweepers. Then in the 30s, they picked up garbage trucks. And then Frank's son came along in the 50s. My dad came along as a partner in the late 60s. I came along in the mid 80s. Dad retired in 1998. Mm-hmm. My wife and I, Maria, bought him out in 98. And we've been on a fast pace of growth since then. Wow. And we are now into 3 states, soon to be 4 facilities, and we're pushing 50 employees.
Good Lord. And so when you talk about these street sweepers and things, for the layman, for someone like Dave running the controls, he'd understand, what kinds of things do you guys sell and service here at Best Equipment?
The easiest way to say it is pretty much everything a city uses in the public works arena to clean the sewers, clean the streets, vacuum the leaves, pick up the garbage, the recycling. We're in the public works environmental arena.
And so if I was the mayor of a city in Ohio and I need to get a street sweeper, I'd be coming to Best Equipment for that kind of thing? Okay.
We have worked hard to represent everything we have in Indiana that's really well established in Ohio and Kentucky. So we're the same everywhere we go.
Right. And you've been growing in the last 10 to 15 years by acquiring other things, and you've got some new places open up. You said one in Cleveland you just opened. You've got one in Louisville now. What's your growth curve? Where are you going to go from here? You're just looking to acquire more street sweeper kind of franchises, or what are you looking to do?
We have our customers. We want to give our customers great service, and you've got to be reasonably close to them to do so.
Okay.
So that's why we have soon to be 3 other facilities, a total of 4. In addition to Cleveland and Louisville, we're going to get a place in Columbus, Ohio. We're actively looking, and then that'll be the end of the accelerated growth because it's quite intense with capital and energy. 3 states is enough. We want to do that really, really well, and we'll be in a position to do that with our people and our facilities.
And Mayor, you have to like Best because of all the people they employ.
Absolutely, not only myself, but the areas where he's expanding to is creating employment opportunities, and these are high-paying jobs that he's creating for. So whenever he comes in or he brings a facility in, not only does it create a situation in which you're going to be able to bring some employees in, but people are going to want to probably stay and settle there. I walked in today, and the first person I met was an employee of Mike's that lives right here in the city of Lawrence. So it's a great story to tell, and it's the reason why people like myself are so happy to have his kind of presence in the city.
And you were at 30th and Arlington, roughly that area, and you moved to Lawrence. Was there a lot of, did you have to put a lot of thought into that, or was Lawrence like the natural place to go, or was you just come out here and found some cheap dirt and decided to build it? I mean, what was the thought process of why you came to
No,
Lawrence?
my heart was always in Lawrence. It was kind of a funny story because we really outgrew our previous building. So I had to move. And so one day I was having lunch with Bob Sterrett, who's very well known within the city of Lawrence. And I said, at that time I was looking at 30th and Post, at that Duke Industrial Park. And he goes, why don't you talk to Billy Poindexter? Billy's got a bunch of land. And okay, so the next day I met with Billy, and I just was out, I was very comfortable, you know, being back home.
And you say back home, you went to Lawrence Central High School, right?
I went to Belzer, I went to Skiles Test, I went to Belzer, I went to Lawrence Central. So a lot of memories, a lot of friends, and it's been great to reacquaint with Steve.
You guys went to school together? Is that right?
Well, we were there. I'm a lot older than he is, so I was a senior when he was a sophomore. So,
Oh, okay. You're a
you
lot
know,
older.
seniors didn't hang out with sophomores back then. So,
Well, he was the stud quarterback too, so
Really?
yeah.
So he
Not
was
a
like your
quarterback.
idol
I
growing
wasn't
So
up?
as a freshman or a sophomore, he was out of touch, you know.
He never gave you a wedgie or anything in the locker room? None of that?
No.
I wouldn't have, but no.
So it's all come full circle for you. You're back in Lawrence. You're back where you feel like it's home, and by all accounts, you seem to be doing very well here in Lawrence.
Yeah, and it's great to see Lawrence advance and progress and get better, and it's really been satisfying.
It's going on it's on the upswing, right?
Yes.
And speaking of that, you know, Mayor, you've got a State of the City address coming up.
Yes, I do.
It's next week, next Thursday.
Next
is that
Thursday.
right?
Yeah.
Sold out. So that's always good when the
Yeah,
chamber
it's
can
kind of
sell.
nice to hear that. So,
Nice.
good fundraiser for the chamber, by the way. So,
That's good. So I think we're going to stream that, but kind of give us a taste of kind of things you're going to be talking about the State of the City.
well, it literally will be a state of the city in the sense that I'm going to go over and talk about what we accomplished in 2017, where we'll touch a little bit about where we were in 2016. We'll talk a lot about what we've accomplished in 2017, and we've done some things so far in 2018. But I'll do some comparison. This is what we were 2 years ago. This is where we are today. This is what we'll be in a year from now. It's nice to be able to look at our budget and be able to project where you're going to be. It's nice to be able to count on having a little bit of money to be able to start spending some things again. We're in a position now. Thankfully, we're able to do a few capital projects for the city.
Like what?
Well. You got me.
That wasn't a gotcha question. You brought it up.
Well, what we're trying to nail down right now is to get our police station built
Yeah, I heard about
in the
that.
city. And that's not one that necessarily brings a lot of income or revenue to the city, but where we're building it, I think is going to result in an awful lot of real positive economic development in there. You know, the reality is our police moved into the government building now as an emergency. Their
Right.
headquarters flooded. That was over 10 years ago, and so we're still in the same building. We've grown. Our police force now is 62 merit officers, 30 reserves, 34 explorers. We have a chaplaincy. So we have well outgrown where we are now. So by putting them where they should have been quite a while ago, it's going to do a lot of things for the city. I'm most excited about not so much just getting our police an adequate facility, but also what impact it'll have on an area of the city that's going to need surely needs some economic development. So we've already seen some interest. Once the word got out where we wanted to put it, people are wanting to get back in there and start building. So that's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't been to the old Fort Bend, which is the historic part of Lawrence, lately, you really need to go through there. My wife and I were down there not too long ago. We kind of took a little road we haven't been on in a while, and there's these little townhomes down there, and there's you get Triton. You've got all these restaurants now downtown. I mean, do you sense? I sense it, but you're at the front of the pack. Do you sense the momentum in Lawrence right now?
We're trying to keep that momentum going. I mean, we've got some going for us right now, but I think I said earlier about this, so we had 70 new homes in 2017. We expect 70 plus in 2018, and even bigger development in 2019. we're putting a lot of festivals on, a lot of things that bring city people into the city. We're we're the only city that has a state park in the middle of it. So a lot of really cool things are happening. There's no question that I'm pointing on bringing more young people into the city and having them hang around. Just found out 2 days ago we're going to have our first ever Oktoberfest in September. So we're going to have a lot of craft brews in, and we think that'll bring in a couple thousand people to spend the day in the city. That, along with our farmers market and our Fridays at the Fort, we just like to. The vibe is really nice right now, and one thing that certainly makes me feel very good about the fact is some people are come and talk to me and say, hey, we hear a lot of good things about what's happening in Lawrence right now. And I'd love to be able to tell you that I get the credit for that. I probably get it too much, but I've got a great team working for me in there, and people like we're here with Best, and people like Mike are keeping that going. And the whole idea behind this is just to become a vibrant city again.
And I think you're well on your way. I mean, I think if you look at where we were 10, 15, 20 years ago, and you look where we are today, it's a whole different environment. And I think from your side, Mike, you're probably feeling the momentum from your employees, from the people you interact with. And you deal with other cities as well, besides just Lawrence. So you're probably seeing or hearing more about Lawrence, or people maybe asking more questions about Lawrence when they come here to see a street sweeper.
Well, we have a lot of guests here from around, actually, the world.
Right.
Some of the things have European ties and even some South American ties. So I want to be proud when I bring a guest here.
Where do you take somebody if they come in from Germany and they're going to stay here for 3 days? And do you take them to the old town Lawrence and show them around the fort, or where do you go?
What's the German, the
Heidelhaus?
Heidelberg. Yeah.
Little JJ's place.
That's where I'd go there. But there's plenty of options, and what's nice is there's more options and more every day. So
yeah, well, that vibrant city is definitely coming to fruition, and I think if you haven't signed up yet, you're probably too late to get in for the State of the City. But we are going to be streaming this live on our Geist Facebook page, so you'll be watching for that next week, and we'll also have this posted on our page for eternity, as long as we're concerned. But you guys, thank you so much for hosting us today. It was really nice meeting you, and
nice to meet you.
Congratulations on another 100 years. Hopefully you guys
thank you.
carry this thing on out. And Steve, thanks for coming out again.
Thanks for coming in.
Good luck next week.
Show your logo.
Oh yeah, one last thing.
Yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so the mayor gave me a copy of this pen, which I'll see if Dave can zoom in a little bit on this. This is the lapel pin that he was wearing the last time I saw him, and actually me and 2 other people made this logo happen for the city about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. So it was kind of great to see the logo surface on some utility trucks, and I think there's a water tower or 2 with it, the logo coming, and now I got a pin. So I will put this on my jacket. I didn't want to put on this shirt because I don't want to put any more holes in my Town Post shirt. It's the only one I got. But I will display this proudly, so keep up the good work. And until next month, we're going to come back to you live again next month. We'll be with the mayor at a different location, so watch our Facebook page for that. If you like the Geist page, you'll be notified as soon as we go live. And until then, have a great week, and we'll see you next week at the State of the City. Take care.